hey, yeah, no, I got him right here. Your friend's on the phone, and they said that you have a marathon coming up too. That's so awesome. So do I in just a few weeks. You've done no training yet? None whatsoever. You still want to do the race? Totally. Of course, yeah, that's funny. They need my help. I bet they do. Yeah, okay. I'll have to get back to you. All right, I'm back. Coach Morgan here from the Run Experience, and now I'm not mad at you for having no training going into this marathon in a very short period of time, but look, I understand. I have been there myself. I have definitely been unprepared for races, not given a whole lot of training and gone into the race, but here's the kicker on that one. I do have a lot of experience under my belt. I do applaud you, however, for going through with doing the thing that you said you wanted to do. So that's awesome. But I'm assuming you're here at this video because you need a little help, because you have not a ton of training in your background, and that's okay. But first, I have to give my little warning on going through with a marathon with like little to no training. So if you've decided, okay, I'm just gonna put together like 3 weeks, gonna cram all of my training in together, that can lead to overtraining. I know that's kind of a basic word, but let me break that down, what that really means. Overtraining is when you're training too much, your body doesn't have enough time to recover in between training sessions, and you've ramped up way too quickly. This can lead to extreme fatigue. Your judgment is impaired, your responsiveness is lower, things like stress fractures, because we're putting too much impact too quickly on the body. This can also lead to muscle tears, which is nothing we want to deal with, and you're definitely not going to be starting that marathon. All right, if you're still with me, that means you want to do the marathon. That's okay. You can do it. And so I'm going to tell you how you can do that. First things first. We don't want to overload ourselves, right? We don't want to go into that overtraining. So what I want you to do is focus on 3 runs per week, preferably spaced out. Once again, you can still go into overtraining if you're just like backloading, doing like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then nothing. That's not great either. So like that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever works best for you. One of these is going to be an easy run. The easiest run you have ever gone on. And if that means you're doing like a running and then you're walking a little bit to keep that heart rate super low, I want you to be able to breathe in through your nose, right? Because they're in through your nose, you got smaller passageways, and we don't want to be gasping for air. This should be conversation pace. And I'm not even going to say, like, I'm not even going to give you a mile amount, but just like the shortest run of your 3 runs. After that may be, once again, I'm not going to give out numbers because I don't know where you are in your training. I don't want to say a number and then send somebody overboard. But like the lowest of your low mileage for that week. Super easy. The next run, we're gonna get a little bit of speed. This is your medium distance run. Okay, this is gonna look like some intervals. I have tons of videos. I'm not gonna go over like, once again, the specifics, but this could look like a tempo run. And a tempo run is structured where, you know, the first mile or few miles, however long this is going to be that easy, that warm-up pace. The chunk, the middle portion of that is going to be a little bit what we call that tempo pace. This should feel labored, but it should not feel intense. It should not feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. You should be breathing heavy, but you should still be able to like have a conversation with someone, you know, chatting like this. You should still be like feeling pretty good. This isn't that 10 out of 10 sprinting for the middle portion, and then the last mile or so, however long the run is gonna go back to that cool down pace, which is the same as that warm up pace. So just kind of like plateau, working on speed, working on turning the legs over. So that's like what a tempo looks like, or you can be doing some intervals. This can be done on a hill, flat, whatever. They can just be some super simple strides from like 10 seconds up to a minute, I would say is a really good range. This will be the fastest that you run ever, is in those interval sessions. The third run is going to be your long run, okay? It's going to be slightly faster than that easy run. Okay, so those are the 3 main runs that you're going to be focusing on. And warm up before. We're gonna do some dynamic drills. We're gonna get moving. We're gonna get that heart rate up. We're gonna get the blood flowing to all the muscles so that it can be more prepared, because it's probably not ready to put in that harder of an effort, even if it's just the easy run. So this can look like high knees, butt kicks, the karaoke where you're like pressing the feet over, head to toe, trying to get a little bit of everything moving. So this is adding a little bit of mobility there, right? Where you can like put your hands on the knee, hug that into the chest, all of it head to toe. This should be minimum 5 to 10 minutes before each run, and then afterwards where we can do our static stretching. So like that sitting and reaching, right? This, sitting and reach. So making sure that we're doing that before and after each of those runs. And then going off of that, adding in some mobility, some yoga. I almost hesitate to suggest strength training. It kills me to not say to not strength train, but if you've never done it before and that's something super new to you, I would stick with the mobility, something yoga, something low impact. Bodyweight exercises like push-ups, sit-ups, squats, things like that. I definitely think that you can add in, but let's not do it the week leading up to the marathon. Speaking of the week leading up to marathon, tapering. If you don't know what that means, we don't want to have our biggest week of training right before the marathon. So that week before the race, we're getting extra sleep. I'm talking 8+ hours. 8 is the minimum Barry that you want to aim for. Hydrating, eating lots of good food, making sure that we're staying on top of all of those things. Speaking of food, look, marathon, I'm just gonna say it's probably gonna be around 4 hours. That's a long time to be out there. It's a long time on your feet. So once again, if you're not ready for that race, one thing that we can do is stay fueled. We can give ourselves the nutrition so that our body can continue to work. So play around with different types of fuel. There are so much out there. Go to a local running store, ask them what they like, do your research on it, right? You might already have a favorite sports drink that you like. Perfect. Try to use that. See if you can practice using that fueling and hydration during some of these runs if you have time. If not during the run, just eat it and like go do something so that you can see how your body reacts to that specific fuel, right? So the fuel that I prefer the most, that I've really never had any issues with, is Spring. And for hydration, I like to use Scratch. I really like it. It's never upset my stomach, but test some stuff out, see what works best for you. Okay, so we've made it to race day. You're doing your warm-ups because I told you to. Do not go out too fast. Remember what I just said about the 4-hour mark? It's around 9 30-minute miles. And if that sounds like already crazy for you, like let's just put that in perspective. I'm hoping that you have some kind of a watch. That's always good. You could always even just use your phone, right? Most of you are gonna have a phone out there. You can just use it as a timer. Like that's the most basic thing that you can do. Use Strava, whatever, to figure out your average pace. Because if I just said the word 9:32 and you're like, oh my God, no way can I even do that, and then you see on the first mile you hit a 9:30, things are not gonna go your way. And you're either gonna have a super miserable end of the race, or you're gonna have to walk and potentially not finish for the cutoffs. A lot of these races do have time cutoffs. Be sure you look at what the cutoffs are and make sure you find one that gives you a generous number so that you can finish the race. At least, if anything else, you can hopefully walk it in. And my last vital piece of information for you is have zero expectations. I really don't suggest going out with the purpose of qualifying for the Boston Marathon. If you run a 2-hour half, don't assume that you're going to do a 4-hour marathon. Take that into perspective. So just have fun. I want to scare you just a little bit so that you do try to take this seriously, because you got to respect the distance. It's a brutal race, but cheers to you if you get through the marathon. I would love to hear about it. So drop those down in the comments as well too, so I can give you some snaps and some kudos. If you have any other questions about marathon training, I believe we've covered a lot of topics on this channel. Let me know down in the comments below, or check out the rest of our channel for lots of other information. And hey, happy racing, and I would love to see any of you on the start line of the marathon sometime soon.